everybody is asleep, so I'm trying to be extra quiet while enjoying my breakfast. It's about, let's see what time it is. It's about 5:42 in the morning, and I'm the only one who's awake. Yeah, it's about 5:42 in the morning. So I'm the only one that's awake. It's very good green juice. measurement things right there. And we go right. All right. Hey guys and gals, this is your boy JR, aka Lone Wolf Bushcraft. The thing you just see me set up for is the little tiny solo stove light. And so you guys have seen the solo stove bonfire. Well, this is the small version. It's the small version. It's called the solo stove light. And a lot of hikers who do long hikes sometimes will use this, but sometimes they'll also use the pocket rocket. This you'd have to wait for the fire to heat up, where the pocket rocket you can immediately start a flame right away. But I love it because it's a little wood burning stove. It acts just like the solo stove bonfire in the sense that oxygen hits it right here, and then it goes up the chamber, and then it gasifies and causes a secondary flame here. Once you get your fire going, of course, then you set this on here. It's got 3 legs here to set your pot on. So, and I bought this as a set together. So the cool thing about this, though, is, of course, before you put this in here, you'll put this in. It's in a little pouch, but then it fits right in there. So that's kind of cool. So, yeah. Can you make primitive things out in the, can you make primitive things like, you know, lots of people can do makeshift things to, you can do primitive rocks to make kind of like a knife, but it's not going to beat an actual, yeah, you can make sharp rocks, but it's better to really have a knife. And this is the, it's the Mora. This is the Mora companion knife, so it's a really nice knife. And, this would be like for cutting fruit, or you could baton with this if you had to. But my favorite kind of batoning knives are, you got the Schrade 36, where it's a real thick knife. That's the kind of knives I like to baton with. Another kind of knife I like to baton with is the Schrade 27. That's a real nice batoning knife, the Schrade 27. Nice thing about the Schrade 36, it comes with its own ferro rod, so that's pretty cool. And then, of course, you guys have seen me use this ferro rod right here. It's a big giant ferro rod where it shoots off more big giant sparks, which is super cool. I also brought me down some books that I wanted to recommend. I always like recommend different authors and stuff. So I'll show you guys the books. This is Cody Lodine's book here, written by Cody Lundeen. Hopefully I pronounced that right. But this is definitely a book I would recommend for you guys to read. It's got pretty awesome illustrations. I'll show you what I mean. See how it's got illustrations like that? And it's got some more illustrations. And the cool thing about it, he's passing on knowledge, but he also has got some really cool illustrations. And basically, you'll remember more because he shows funny cartoon pictures as well as talking about survival. And that's Cody Lundeen right there. I believe he lives out in Arizona and he teaches survival skills and stuff. So, yeah, the title of the book's called When All Hell Breaks Loose, Stuff You Will Need to Survive When Disaster Strikes, Cody Lundeen. He's also the author of the best-selling 98.6 Degrees, The Art of Keeping Your Ass Alive. So that's his other book. But this one is the When All Hell Breaks Loose book. So really cool book. And he almost takes talking about survival entertaining. So that's pretty cool. So, yeah, and then that's what Cody Lundeen looks like right there. Here's another book by Kenneth Calmer. He's a MD. He's a physician. So that's another recommended book. And this one was written by a physician. So that's a cool Surviving in the Extremes. So that's super cool. And, oh wow. Now this one here has several authors. This one is almost a library of survival authors. Antonio Ackermans, Peter G. Drake, Bill Meadows, and Andy Middleton. So this is a mixture of survival authors. So that's super cool. So you'll have a variety of authors in this book. So that's recommended as well. So the ultimate practical guide to staying alive in extreme conditions, emergency situations, and all environments anywhere in the world. So this is a compilation of writers teaming up together and creating this survival book, which is super cool. And of course, this one, Surviving the Extremes by Kenneth Calmer, MD. So he's a doctor that wrote this book, recommended. And then Cody Lundeen, When All Hell Breaks Loose. And that's what Cody Lundeen looks like, the author there. So, yeah. I probably would almost read this one first. So that way you have you kind of have a little fun with it. And then I'm going to show off a little bit of gear items to you guys. So that's what I'm doing here. I'll show off a little gear items. So, and it's raining outside. I was going to do a live stream. I was going to build me a campfire and do a live stream while I'm doing a campfire. But it's actually raining outside, so I wasn't able to do that. We got some people in the chats here. Lady Marty, Mine's Journey. Don't forget to connect with each other down below. I'm talking to people in the chat. Yeah, earlier in the video, Deborah Rat showed up here. Hazy Cheesy, Brett Glasgow, R.S. Chavez, Drainer's Adventures. Let me go through some of the chats. Mary Pawsey, Deborah Rat. Brett was here, Mary. Miss Lynn. Hazy Cheesy, Deborah Rat, Hazy Cheesy. Shanice was here. Deborah Rat. Lady Marty was here. Mind Five's Journey was here. Abel's here. Mind's Journey. Mind's Journey. Oh man, how do I pronounce that one? Sabana Vlogs, cool. Mind's Journey. Sorry if I mispronounce any names. Deborah in the house. So yeah, the rain stopped me from building a campfire today. I almost thought about doing a campfire in the rain anyway. So, like I said, there are some YouTube channels that do. There are some YouTube channels that do primitive skills videos. I'm not one of those guys. I like to buy gear and items so I don't have to fashion them out of out of nature. But can you do it? Sure you can. But it's really nice to have an actual tool knife. So this would be more for like food prepping. And then this one here would be more like for batoning. And this is a really good chopper. This Schrade 36 is a good chopper. It's a good chopper knife. The blade is nice and thick, so if you had to baton, which is cool. Some people, instead of batoning, they use a small hatchet instead of batoning with a large knife. What's neat about these large knives, you're more likely to carry it on you than carrying around the hatchet, especially if you're hiking. So here's a Schrade 27. Also really nice. Now this is interesting. This blade is a little thinner. The Schrade 27. Look at that. You can see the Schrade 27's got a little thinner blade and this nice thick blade with the Schrade 36. So, but I still baton. Batoning is where you place it on a log and then you pound down with another piece of wood. That's what batoning is, in case you guys didn't know. So, yeah, both these blades are really nice for batoning wood. And then, of course, you got your little neck knives. And this one is a, this is called the CRKT Minimalist Bowie, which is funny that it's called a Bowie since it's a really small knife. But it's got a, look at that, I can choke up with my fingers right there. And just a really nice, this is actually a neck knife. But you can, they have a hook that you can add to these grommet holes right here. And then you can hang it on your belt. Or you can wear it around your neck. So that's the original purpose of it, was it being a neck knife. So there you go. I need and with these little knives, I also think of food prepping. These little knives can be pressed into other tasks, but I mainly think of cutting rope and cordage really fast. And let's say you didn't want to take your big knife off your belt and you just have this little neck knife to do it real quick. So, yeah, they're really cool. And you're more likely, the neat thing about little knives like this, you're more likely to carry this with you on a hike than you are really big knives. Same thing with this, you're more likely to carry this knife, this more companion. Especially if you're going on a quick day hike, you're more likely to carry this on you, say, instead of this bulky Schrade 36. If I was going to go on a really long hike, and especially if I was going to camp at each stop, I definitely would want to carry a big knife. And of course, not only could you wear this on your belt, but you could also strap it to a pack. So, and I do have a big pack down here below. I got a gym bag and a big green pack. So, in that green pack, I can pack a small tent. I can put a small tent, and then I could put say a wool blanket at the bottom of that green pack. And then, yeah, I'm good to go. You can stuff quite a lot you can stuff a small sleeping bag in there, a tent, or you can attach your tent on the outside and then also attach a wool blanket. Of course, I showed off this ferro rod in one of my other live streams. It's I got this from the Self-Reliance Outfitter store. It's a real thick, look how thick that, it's a ferro rod, so it's super thick. Here's another kind of ferro rod, but it comes in its own case. This is also from the Self-Reliance Outfitter store. And look how thick that rod is. That's a very thick ferro rod. But what I like about it is it's compact, and therefore I'm more likely to carry this with me since it is in a kind of compact system. And I love that it comes in its own carrying case, so that's pretty cool. And same thing with this small solo stove light. Since this is really small, I can fit it in my hand. Once again, this is solo stove light. You put your small pieces of wood down there. This grate right here kind of holds your pieces of wood there. So they're really small twigs and stuff. Basically, really small wood debris you would put in this, and then throw some cotton balls in there and then start it. And then, like I said, oxygen will hit these walls, the hot air rises up, and that causes a secondary flame right here. So, of course, once you get your fire going, you're going to set this on top. It has the base of 3 things. It's got 3 legs on there on the base. And yeah, you can just set your pot on there. So the other thing I like about this, it's got a measuring. There's some measurements on the outside. So let's say you got one of those mountain packs, and then you can measure really easy there. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Whoops. So I like the fact that it's got measurements on there, so that's pretty cool. And then, of course, once you're finished and this cools off and you put this away, you'll throw it in this small pouch here. Then once it's in the pouch, you'll put it in here. You'll put it in here. And then you'll just cover it up like that. And then, of course, then you'll throw this in a pouch. So this comes with its own pouch, and so does the Solo Stove Light. So I'm not getting anything from Solo Stove. I just really like their products. I think they're really well-made products. They're not cheap, but once again, they're still really well-made products. And let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put this away just to show what it's like. So once again, you would do this after this all cools off. If it's down there like that, we'll put it in its own stuff sack. And the cool thing about this is a self-contained fire. And I love that it comes in its own little bag, so that's super cool. That's super cool. And then there's the pot. We got our Solo Stove Light in here, and then you just put it right in there. So we got our Solo Stove Light in there, and then we put this, closes that. And then we'll put our pot back in its Solo Stove bag. And since these are small items, you're more likely to take these with you and use them. So that's the cool thing. And once again, like I said, I'm not getting anything from Solo Stove. I just really like their products. I think they're cool. Yeah, they just make really cool products. And every time you buy, or most of the time, every time you buy a Solo Stove product, it comes with its own stuff sack, which is super cool. And they're always, with each stuff stack I've gotten from even my giant Solo Stove bonfire, this is the Solo Stove Light. All of them have awesome, like there's plenty of room to put your item in each stuff stack they give you with each Solo Stove item. It definitely refits back in there easily. So that's pretty awesome. This is for just boiling water. And so you can make some tea or boil some water to make some coffee. So that's kind of cool. So it's kind of a kettle. This is like a camping mug that you can also set on a fire and maybe heat up some water to make either coffee or hot chocolate. So that's pretty cool. When I go hiking, I like to carry me a lighter. Even though most of the times I'm going to start my campfire with cotton ball and a ferro rod. So I'm more likely going to use a ferro rod and cotton balls to start my fire, but I still always carry me a lighter just in case. The neat thing about a lighter is it gives off an awesome flame, or it gives a consistent flame. The other neat thing about these lighters is once it loses all of its lighter fluid and no longer acts like a lighter anymore, this area right here will still give off sparks. So therefore, a spark can still light a cotton ball, and you could still, this would still, even after the fluid's all gone, you can still cause a spark right here, and it will still start a campfire with cotton balls. So that's kind of cool. There's still plenty of lighter fluid in this because I'm constantly lighting with my ferro rod. And oh my God, this looks like it would last forever. It's so thick. There's a new thing I've been getting into lately too. I've been buying these kits, and basically it's flint and steel kits. And there's a steel, they call this particular steel a C steel because it's in shape of a C. And there's, with this kit, it came with a pre-lit candle. So this is like a pre-lit candle thing here. And then there's your flint. And there's your C steel. So kind of cool. And it kind of fits naturally in the hand. And of course you're striking your flint, or you can either strike it this way. And once again, it'll cause sparks instead of a cotton ball. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they call this the C Steel kit. And also I picked this up at the Self-Reliance Outfitter store. I'll show you guys another kit. This kit's really cool. It also comes with its own flint, but also comes with a really interesting striker. So look at that striker. It's in the shape of an arrow. It's kind of cool. So it's in the shape of an arrowhead, but what's really neat, if you see this right here, you can put a stick to do a bow drill. I don't know if you guys are familiar with bow drill fires, but instead of getting a flat rock, this would be much better because it's already got a thing there to put a stick. So you put your stick right there. We'll pretend this is a stick. There you go. Let's pretend this is a stick, and you just set it right there. You set it in that hole right there. So we got it in our hole, and then we'll have to pretend this is a stick. And normally you have two strings right here holding this stick right here. And as you move it, it causes this stick to move like this. It causes the wood to move like this. And normally there's another piece of wood down at the bottom that you've already made a groove. And of course, what you're doing at the bottom, there's another piece of wood right here, and you're causing friction right there. And what happens is eventually it starts to smoke at the bottom. And basically, you're starting to create ambers at the bottom. And eventually, it smokes so much that it finally creates a very, very fine amber. And it helps if you have dried material already down there, ready to fall into the dried material. And of course, that'll ignite a fire. Once it gets smoking a whole lot at the bottom, then you grab up the bundle and you start to blow into it, giving more oxygen to it. And eventually a flame happens because your feet, as you're holding the bundle, you're blowing more and more oxygen into it. And eventually burst the flame. Of course, then you got to let go of the bundle real quick because it's all going to catch fire. So, yeah, I have not done a bow drill fire. So, and I'm just now getting into flint and steel. So, but my favorite way so far is using a ferro rod and cotton to start a fire, because it's made of material. It's a ferrocerium rod, so the ferrocerium material creates these really, really hot sparks, and it usually lights a cotton ball real easily. So, but so far this has been my favorite method, which is using the ferro rod's been my favorite method to. And I'm usually sometimes striking with a knife. This did come with its own striker, but my favorite way to use this particular ferro rod is to take the edge of my knife right here and strike, and it creates these really cool sparks. So when you have a giant ferro rod, it's really fun to light campfires. Now this, I'd been wanting this item for a really long time. It's called the Hudson Bay Fire Kit. It's really, really cool. You can buy them on different websites. You take this top cap off here, and you can light a fire with the sun. So that's pretty cool. So it's got a neat magnifying glass that you can light with the sun. So that's pretty cool. Inside the Hudson Bay kit, you have some twine that you can light fires real easy. You have some charred material. In case you guys aren't familiar with charred material, some types of charred material are cotton. You would, there's like those, I don't know if you guys have seen those Altoid tins, or you can even use a tin like this, poke a hole at the top, and you place it in the fire. What it does, it heats up this, and this thing will start to smoke. And so that's how you create charred material. You put, maybe you tear up some old t-shirts that you're not using anymore and place this in here, and you'll create some charred material. And basically it turns out to look like this black stuff, which we call charred material. This is a really interesting, in this particular kit, the Hudson Bay kit, this is the striker that it comes with. It's kind of a U-shaped striker, steel striker. Yeah, you got some jute string in there. Of course, you got the charred material, and then it comes with a flint rock there. So, interesting story about this little Hudson Bay kit. Sometimes ships would catch fire and stuff because guys would carry it in different things instead of a metal thing like this. So having it in a metal thing like this keeps it from, of course, elements of catching fire. So that is kind of the story behind these Hudson Bay kits. So they also used this as a tobacco tin thing, this Hudson Bay thing. So, and then I just simply like the color of it. It's really cool. So I like that brass color. The Hudson Bay comes in this brass color, which is really cool. So really cool item. And then here's a knife. What I like about this knife, there's a bottle opener there. There's a flashlight right here, little tiny flashlight. Pretty cool. Sorry. So there's the tiny, you can see the little light there. So there's a little light there. And yeah, just really. The other thing I like about this is it has its own little tiny ferro rod, so that's pretty cool. And then let me go ahead and close this. It's got a rope cutter right here, so that can cut rope, and then that's a glass breaker. So really cool item. Here's a this is made of steel, stainless steel, and it's called, I think they call it a spork, because it's got both a spoon and a fork. So that's kind of cool. And not only that, it's one of the items you could easily throw in your pack. They do make these out of plastic, but I just love stainless steel over plastic. So here's another flint and steel kit. This is probably one of their real basic kits at the Self-Reliance Outfitter store. And it comes with this striker here. Comes with a candle wax there. And of course there's your flint. So really, really basic kit. I love the little tiny bag that it comes in, so that's kind of cool. If I'm not mistaken, I think this kit was like $7, this little basic kit here. And like I said, I'm just now getting into practicing with flint and steel to start campfires. But I'm most familiar with starting fires with the ferrocerium rod. And what's funny is anytime you get a ferro rod, you got this black coating, and then once you scrape off that black coating, that's the ferrocerium material that gets really hot and creates sparks, which is cool. And then I love the fact that this thing's compact and comes in its own case. That's pretty cool. Neat thing about this one, I got this one for free. I bought a couple knives at the Self Reliance Outfitter store, and they gave me this medium size cloth thing. And at the bottom of this, I got this free item here, so that was pretty cool. And like I said, the reason I got the free giveaway bag is I had bought two knives from the Self Reliance Outfitter store. They don't always do that, but every once in a while, it looks like they do stuff, give free goodie bags away, so that's pretty cool. And then this is a cool item here. I think this was around $20. Aquamarine Filter Technology. There's the name. And like I said, I think it was approximately around $20. I bought this at Dick's Sporting Goods store. It looks like a regular water bottle, but it's not. So you'll unscrew this here, and look, it's got a filter. So that's the filter right there. So let's say you're at a stream or a lake. You just fill this up, throw this in there, and you got filtered water. You're drinking filtered water. There's another one where I think it's called a filter water compress. Same size kind of bottle. And then when you put this here, when you press the filter all the way through the water, it cleans the water. So that's kind of cool. If I didn't have this, I would have to make a small campfire, and I'd have to boil water, and then I'd have to wait for my water to cool off and then drink. But these are really handy because you can put the water in here, and it's got a filter already built inside it. So that's pretty cool. I have yet to use this because I'm really holding it on for emergency purposes. And it also will filter a lot of water. One of the items I do need to pick up is I think it's called the Life Straw. It's made by the same company. But the neat thing about the Life Straw, the Life Straw is about this size, is the Life Straw. And let's say the only thing I had on me was a sandwich bag, a plastic sandwich bag. You could scoop up the water, and then you could just you could make a little hole in that bag, or just put it at the top of the bag, your Life Straw, and you could actually drink the water directly from the Life Straw, because there's a whole filter system in the Life Straw, but I still need to pick that up. Here's a funny thing. There's a place called Clark's Safety, and it's where I buy, and these are my favorite brand of glasses. They're called the Nemesis, and they're safety glasses. But at the same time, they're sunglass shades. But it's my most, and I pick them up at Clark's Safety here in Indiana. So I'm sure you can look that up on the internet, Clark's Safety. And I want to say some of the glasses are like $20, and then some of them, these ones I'm showing up today, are like $6 and some cents. But they're really comfortable, and they're Clark's Safety glasses. And there's tons of times where I've dropped these off. There's tons of times where these accidentally fell on my hand, they hit the ground, and they have shatterproof lenses. So So better than regular sunglasses. And I'm also wearing a pair. The pair I have on my face is the same pair here. I mean, made by the same company. But like I said, $6 and some change are each of these glasses. But they also have some other kind of made same style of glasses, but around $20. But these ones I'm showing off are $6 and some change. So what you pay for one glass is a lot of people pay like 12 or 13 bucks for a pair of glasses. So that same 12 or 13 bucks you can end up buying two of these glasses for 12 or 13 bucks. So really made well, and like I said, these lenses are shatterproof. So if they fall out of your hand, the lens is not going to break. So really awesome glasses. This is one's got the kind of the blue shade there and the black rims. And this is one with just basic sunglass protection, and it's got the red rims on there. And they're all made by the same company there. I'm not getting anything from this company. I'm just showing off that I like their products. So, and I like the fact they're only $6 something a piece. So if you pick up two of them, it comes to around 12 or 13 bucks. So not too bad. Get two pairs of sunglasses for around 12 or 13 bucks. So, and once again, these are shatterproof lenses, which are pretty awesome. Super cool. And I'll show off. I carry a variety of different flashlights. So I carry this. These are roughly around $5 to $7. And then this flashlight actually came in one of my little survival kits, but it's like a really mini flashlight, but it's super powerful. Look at that. It's a super powerful little flashlight. But once again, it came in one of my, comes with its own little hook. But this came in one of my kits. I really love it because it's small, but it's got a really powerful light. So it's pretty cool. And you're more likely, by getting a smaller lights, you're more likely to carry these on you, these smaller lights, than say carrying a big hunky light. So, and the kind of lights that these give off, lots of power, and they're small, they're compact, and you're more likely, like this, I don't even feel at all, and it's a powerful little light. So, one time I went hiking with my family. We picked this one hike that ended up being so long, the sun went down, and we were still hiking. Of course, I started using my cell phone flashlight, but it's nice to have a individual light. And then I also have, when I go on hikes, if I think it's going to end up getting dark on me, I make sure I wear a light that you can put on your ball cap. So that's pretty cool. Here's a Gerber. This is a little blue pouch. And this blue pouch I picked up by itself, but then I put gear items in it. And this is one of the Gerber gear items I put in it. And so far this blade hasn't gone dull. But if it does, I could switch it out with a new blade. There's a mechanism here where you can unlock it and put a brand new blade in there. But so far I haven't had to do it. It's stayed pretty sharp. And once again, that's made by Gerber. Comes with a nice belt clip. So super cool. Yeah, and I really like that it comes with a belt clip. That's super cool. But instead of wearing it as a belt clip, I just put it in this blue pouch. Also in this blue pouch is, I carry another gear item in this blue pouch, and it's the dime. And this is also, this is also a Gerber item. As you can see, I kind of wore off, I've used this thing so much, I've worn off the paint, but it's a Gerber. This is the Gerber dime. And it comes with a lot of little tools. Of course, that's a bottle opener. Let me close it. This Comes with a little tiny set of pliers, which is cool. And once again, since this is a small compact item, I'm more likely going to carry it. Comes with a nice little set of scissors. That's pretty cool. Really cool set of scissors. I love things that are compact. Look at that. Now this is really sharp. Look at that tool. That is really sharp. I use this as a box opener. So let's say I'm going somewhere for the day. I'm going to cut a lot of boxes, and let's say I don't want to carry this big thing with me. I'll carry this little small item. But like I said, this little dude's really, really sharp, and it goes through box. You know, when I'm opening boxes, this will go through it real easily, and it's super, super, super sharp. So I have to be really careful when I'm using that. And then it does come with its own little knife, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So the strongest kind of knife. Yeah, I already showed off that tool. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I missed the other tools on the Gerber dime here. There's a screwdriver element, and also there's a nail file right there, so that's cool. Here's the other item I forgot to show off on the Gerber dime. It's another screwdriver element. So, and I have used these in a pinch. You know, I didn't think I would need to use a screwdriver, and then I'll remember I have the Gerber dime on me. So, and also inside this blue pouch, I carry, these are survival tips. This one's from Les Stroud. All the tips from Les Stroud, survival tips, and this one is from what is his name? That's terrible. Bear Grylls. So this is tips from Bear Grylls, and this is tips from Les Stroud. Les Stroud's a survival expert, and Bear Grylls also is a survival expert. If I'm not mistaken, I think Bear Grylls may have served in the Foreign Legion. I can't remember. I don't know that for sure, but I know he served in some kind of military. Bear Grylls did. And what's so funny, Bear Grylls items are so recognizable because they're a mixture of dark gray and orange and black. So orange and black are Bear Grylls colors, and then Les Stroud's colors are like kind of a lime and gray and black color. So when you'll know when you're using one of their items or one of their tools that they sell, because they have really distinct colors that they chose. So I'll close out this segment with the recommended books. So Surviving the Extremes by Kenneth Calmer, who's a physician. I definitely recommend this book. And then this book here, which is like it has a variety of authors: Antonio Ackerman, Peter G. Drake, Bill Meadows, and Andy Middleton. So this is a collab book of different survival authors, all in one book, and I definitely recommend this book. So it's a definitely recommend read. But then the first book I'd like to see, especially if you get all three of these books, the very first book I'd like you to read would be this book here, Cody Lundy. And it's called When All Hell Breaks Loose, Stuff You Need to Survive When Disaster Strikes. And then he's also the author of 98.6 Degrees, The Art of Keeping Your Ass Alive. But I definitely recommend When All Hell Breaks Loose by Cody Lundy. There's a photo of the author there. I believe he lives in Arizona, and he still teaches survival skills. So if you get all three of these books, I picked these books up at the Half Price bookstore. And probably got a really good deal since I picked all these books up at the Half Price bookstore here in Indiana. But Yeah, Cody Lundy's really awesome. And yeah, there's one of his illustrations here. So I think you're going to, like I said earlier in this live stream, you're going to remember, you're just going to remember, there's some more illustrations there, but you're just going to remember, I think when you look at both pictures, and it's written in such a fun way that you're just not going to forget. Like here's one that talks about the psychological symptoms of fear. And it almost looks like a character like Jimmy the Cricket saying, "Step right up, folks." And he's got a wheel there, and it looks like it's showing the different phases of psychological fear. So, and here's one where it says, men fear death as children fear to go in the dark. And as the natural fear is increased by tales, so is the other. Sir Francis Bacon. So it's got little tidbits at the corner of some of the chapters there, and how fear affects the body. So that's kind of cool. There's a chapter on how fear affects the body. But what's really cool, he's doing an illustration there, and then he's going point by point on how to handle that. And like I said, I think it makes for way more fun. It makes it a more pleasure to read this survival book than say a survival book that might be super cut and dry. You know, I'm not saying that that's what this is here, but basically, I think Cody Lundy is being practical. He's trying to be entertaining at the same time, trying to tell you how to survive. And that's why I think reading this one first, you'll read this one first, and then you'll get other enjoyments out of reading these books. Obviously, I felt these books had merit too because I bought them, so they definitely have merit. So yeah. But I definitely would read this one first because then it gets you in the mindset. You know, it entertains you, but also you'll probably never forget the tips because he does all those illustrations. And but I like what he says. He says, read it. Make sure you read this book in its entirety before a disaster hits. You know, the time, you know, like let's say a disaster hits and I say, I'm going to go to the bookstore and buy me some books. That's kind of too late. You need to read these kind of books way before a disaster happens. But anyways, I think this will get people in the right mindset. And at the same time, they're probably not going to forget all the tips when a disaster hits because then they'll remember all the illustrations in there. So, yeah, it never hurts for people to get knowledge and stuff. And like I said, when I tell people I do bushcrafting for fun or as a hobby or I go camping and go out and have fun, when I'm bushcrafting, I'm not practicing survival. I'm practicing just making myself comfortable out in the woods. One area that I'm not knowledgeable at that I need to really get knowledgeable at, and that's learning which things are edible out in the woods, which plants are safe to eat, and yeah, I need to really get that kind of knowledge. God forbid I had to survive out in the woods and eat some wild plants and stuff out in the woods. But yeah, like I said, when I go camping or bushcrafting, I'm not practicing survival. But what's ironic is a lot of survival elements are built into bushcraft. You know, the making of the campfire to keep your body temperature at a temperature it always needs to be at. That's a survival skill. But what's ironic is bushcraft does it more as a, hey, I need to get warm and they're not thinking of survival. I just need to get warm and comfortable. I'm going to be more comfortable for the night if I build me a campfire. The other thing that's cool about bushcraft, it can teach you how to build a shelter. Let's say you didn't have time to build a campfire to get warm. It teaches you how to build a really, really small shelter, and then you crawl in there, and the earth keeps you warm stuff. And also, before you crawl in your small shelter that you just made, hopefully you have a large plastic bag on you. Even if you don't have a plastic bag on you, you can set a lot of leaves on top. And so I'd try to set, you probably want to set as many leaves as you could in your shelter, so that way when you go lay down on it, you're going to compress those leaves. And so if you put a bunch in there and then it compresses, it may stop at here. And basically what you're doing is you're by placing all those leaves under you before you go to bed, you're stopping the ground from, because if you were to place no leaves on the ground between you and the ground, the ground will suck all the heat out of your body and you'll get really, really cold. So one of the ways to beat that is you put another set of material between you and the ground. And that way the ground can't suck all the heat that's coming off your body. So, and basically by doing that, by creating a barrier between you and the ground, any heat that your body generates will stay with you and will reflect back to you. So, a lot of people will have either a sleeping bag between them and the ground, or they'll have there's a thing that you lay down on the ground, that you lay on the ground before you even throw your sleeping bag. So you could put let's say a couple layers. There's it's like a bedroll material. So let's say you lay a tarp, and then also it's called a sleeping pad. So you'll lay down a sleeping pad, and then you'll lay down your sleeping bag. And so, yeah, you'll have the tarp, which is stopping, which is blocking the ground. Then you have the sleeping bag on top of the tarp. No, I'm sorry. You got the tarp, the sleeping pad, and then the sleeping bag. So you got several layers there protecting you from the ground sucking the moisture or sucking heat off your body. So if you had a hard time remembering anything, if you're going to sleep at night in the woods, you just got to remember, always keep something between you and the ground, so that way you don't get cold at night. So that's so important. But I wanted to show off my the camp or the fireplace you saw. That was my gas fireplace. That's why it was making noise. So you saw me start off my video live stream with the gas fireplace. You saw me making breakfast a little bit. And then here I finished off with showing gear items and also showing off my survival books that I've purchased. I appreciate everything you guys do. I appreciate the fact that you guys have subscribed. Any videos you like, please share with your friends and family, especially if it's travel vlogs you like. If you liked any travel vlogs, or if you liked any of my camping videos, of course, you'll notice I do more than just bushcraft on this channel. So you'll see a little bit of bushcrafting, especially when I'm building a campfire. You'll see hiking videos, camping videos, travel vlog videos. And of course, when I'm traveling abroad, I'll also do food vlog videos as well. And when I created this channel, I came up with the name Lone Wolf Bushcraft. One, because I was getting into bushcrafting, and two, I like going out in the woods and camping. Once again, when I go out in the woods, I'm bringing my favorite food. The main camping I kind of do is car camping. So that way, and when you go car camping, you don't have to worry about weight. It'd be a lot different if I went hiking. Let's say I was going to do hiking and also camp. Or let's say I was doing one of the really long trails and I know I'm going to stop and have to build myself a camp every once in a while. That's when you have to start worrying about the weight of your gear items. But if you're going car camping, you don't have to worry about that. You can stuff a huge cooler, stuff a lot of food, throw your favorite drinks in there. Car camping is one of my favorite because it's really about you arrive there at camp, and in my case, I usually have a two-person tent, a pretty wide two-person tent where I can throw myself in there, and then also put in gear items with me. So I'm usually setting up a hammock. I'm usually setting up my two-person tent, and then I'm getting my campfire going, and then I'm usually setting up my dinner for the evening that day. And it's it's really about enjoying really good food and enjoying my favorite drinks while I'm out camping. So I really enjoy it. It's car camping is one of my favorite kind of campings to do. As far as hiking, like in the case where I was in Cape Town, South Africa, I hiked up Table Mountain. That was the first time I hiked up a mountain, and it was really awesome. What's funny is before I left for the hike, I stuffed these black leather gloves. They're more like patrol gloves, but they're black. Didn't even think about it, just stuffed them in my pocket. And there were some parts of that hike where I had to get on all fours to climb up on some rocks while I was hiking up Table Mountain, and I'm so glad I brought those along. My little family was surprised that I had those gloves. I just whipped out my gloves, put them on, and then I didn't mind climbing up rocks and stuff because I had these black patrol gloves on. I think each of us brought a couple bottles of waters when we went and hiked up Table Mountain, so that was cool. And everything's on my video. I complained a lot about not being in shape for that, but it's still doable. Even if you're not in shape, climbing up Table Mountain is still doable. And I got to capture a lot of beautiful, being on Table Mountain and looking down into the valley and seeing the different parts of Cape Town. So it had really beautiful views. So, it's definitely a workout in hiking up Table Mountain, but it's worth it because by the time you get at the top, you get these really awesome views. So one of the ways you can help my channel out is you can subscribe to the channel. I definitely would ask you to subscribe to the channel, especially if you're enjoying the content here on the Lone Wolf Bushcraft YouTube show. I didn't mean to say it. Yeah, the show part is when I'm doing a live stream. So, like the Lone Wolf Bushcraft live show, and then also like the videos. That helps the channel. And then also subscribing also helps the channel. So if you do, please consider subscribing if you do enjoy the content of the Lone Wolf Bushcraft YouTube channel. And also share out these videos, especially any videos you end up really liking here. Make sure you share with your friends and family. I appreciate all the love that's been shown from my subscribers. I appreciate my new subscribers, and I appreciate my subscribers who've been with me from the very beginning. I love you guys and gals. You all rock. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you take care of one another, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys and gals. Later, Gators. Take care. Peace. And once again, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace. Take care, everybody. Later, Gators.